Hey everyone, I'm back. Several companies have been contacting me lately, kicking off, I guess, what we can unofficially call the summer of reviews. They sent me this device to give my honest review. Meet the SuperBox S1 Pro. It's an Android TV box, but it's one with a trick up its sleeve. It claims to let you watch VOD or video on demand, movies, and live TV for free without paying any subscription fees. Sounds nice, but let's see if it is. Android TV boxes come in many flavors. Most are inexpensive. They allow you to download common apps and use them on your TV. This particular one costs between $249 and $299. The seller says this increased cost is you paying for the added ability to watch videos on demand and live TV with the apps Blue TV and Blue VOD that are built in. It's just one upfront cost though, and after you buy the device, you never pay again. If you're looking for an Android TV box to stream just Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, and that sort of thing, then this isn't the device for you. The SuperBox will do all these things, but you can find TV boxes cheaper if you don't want live TV and VOD services. This device is for those that want to cut the cable, get rid of their satellite TV, or want to save money, but still want some TV. If you drop your current TV, this thing will pay for itself after several months. But is it good enough to actually replace your TV service? Let's quickly see what's in the box. You get the SuperBox itself. We'll look at it closer here in a second. You get a remote control that feels pretty nice. You also get an HDMI cable and the power adapter. Lastly, there's an antenna if you want to use Wi-Fi. Looking closer at the SuperBox, you can see it's not very large, about 4 inches in most directions. It's made out of mostly shiny plastic. On the back, you get the Wi-Fi antenna screw post, an audio-video port, HDMI port, Ethernet port, and the power port. On the side, you can see you get a microSD card slot, USB 3 port, USB 2 port, and a reset button. The remote takes 2 AAA batteries. So we plug the cables into the holes and then fire it up. While we wait for it to boot up, let's check out the specs. It runs on Android 7, has a quad-core processor, 2 gigs of RAM, 16 gigabytes of internal storage. It supports H.265, dual-band Wi-Fi of the AC variety, and it will support 6K. Interestingly, it only has a 100 megabit per second Ethernet port. That is enough speed to handle what you'll need, but I thought I had seen a last of 100 megabit NICs. Now that it's ready, we are met with this disclaimer. It's basically saying there's lots of ways you can use this device to gain access to content, and it's your responsibility to make sure you're following copyright law, and that you have the rights to stream and watch the stuff you're going to watch. A disclaimer like this makes sense because there's even a web browser on this thing. You could use it to watch technically any content available on the internet. We'll come back to this topic later. Right now, if you promise to be a good person, click agree. It won't let you move forward otherwise. Also, since there are lots of channels on here, and I'm sure you want to see what they are, I will start the channel list right now and let them go throughout the video. Slow the video down if you want to see them easier. Go ahead and set up the device on your Wi-Fi or Ethernet if you're using that. Set your screen zoom, and then you're presented with the main screen. You have the tile for live TV, video on demand, a favorites tile, a web browser, an app store, and an apps menu. Down here you have your typical Android system settings. This folder icon lets you connect to network locations or pull up files and content from the local storage, like the SD card or USB drive. This paper airplane icon seems to kick off a simple system cleanup. The other icon might do a reset, and the last one probably gets you some form of support. Let's go to live TV. After all, that's what everyone is here to see. After clicking the live TV icon, you need to specify what apps you want on the live TV list. Clicking add doesn't really get us anything right out of the gate, but exit this. Visit the Google Play Store. You can download Hulu, Netflix, Disney+, YouTube, and whatever you have an account for, and then add these to the list. You can do that by clicking on the App Store, going to the Google Play Store, logging in, and then installing what you want. What we want to focus on are the apps that allow us to watch the content that is included with the SuperBox, Blue TV, and Blue VOD. We can install these by clicking App Store, and then again clicking App Store. This is a special app store that is set up with the box. Here we can find Blue TV and Blue VOD, so install these and any other you want. Now we can go back to Live TV, click Add, and we can add Blue TV to the list. We can do the same with Blue VOD under the VOD section and any other app we want to use there. Finally, launching Blue TV will take you to what we've been wanting to see, Live TV. I'll try to keep the content changing and not leave something up too long so YouTube doesn't flag me. There seem to be US, Canadian, Spanish, and Philippine channels. You also have the channels organized by type if you click left on the remote while the guide is up. Clicking right when the guide is up will give you the programming for that channel. I did notice it wasn't always correct though. There are a lot of channels, and some of my favorites are the 24/7 channels focusing on one TV show. Everybody Loves Raymond, Seinfeld, Animaniacs. Oh, and not to mention my favorite, Dog TV. So far it seems pretty nice, and a decent system. However, there are some issues. Let's go over those right now. The 24/7 channels seem to have a few syncing issues, a few times every half hour, where it would repeat a few seconds of show and then would skip forward again to resync, skipping a few seconds of whatever you were watching. But from what I could tell, this only seemed to affect the 24/7 channels. I did notice that most channels had closed captioning on, and I wasn't able to turn them off. Or closed captioning was off on a few and I couldn't turn it on. So if you rely on closed captioning, it should be present, but it's still a bit hit or miss. Also, some of the channels would come up as down for maintenance. It was rare amongst the normal channels, but it happened. It seemed like most of the special NBA, NCAA, pay-per-view, NFL, and those sorts of channels usually were the ones that didn't work. Occasionally, when first selecting a channel, it would stutter for a few seconds to buffer and sync, and after that the video quality was good. Most channels were in HD, with only a few in SD, but any channel not in HD these days is a negative for me. It was possible to get the app to crash too if you got the feeling to bug hunt. Next, let's talk about the DVR functionality. There is none. There is no way to record any TV on this, nor can you rewind or pause the live TV. For me, and most people, I would assume, I've become used to the ability to record stuff and watch it later. Not an option with SuperBox, not that I could find anyway. There are several buttons on the remote that didn't seem to do anything. All of these buttons, the menu button, the favorite button, and this dot button. There were times when I wanted to change the aspect ratio. The seller says you can change that from the Android settings. However, the aspect buttons on the remote didn't do anything. Alright, so changing gears, let's talk about Blue VOD for a bit. It's the app that lets you watch more than 10,000 plus videos on demand. It did seem to have a pretty good selection, with a basic but functional user interface that was easy to find your way around. It worked well, and I had no issues with the movies. But the movies weren't in any order. It seemed like it was just a large list. Although you can search, which helps you find the one you want. The aspect was also off on a few of the movies as well, but not a huge issue if you can change that in the settings as claimed. And the same closed captioning issues are present. There was even one movie where the captions were off by several lines. Overall, the quality of the movies were really good, with only a few exceptions. A few movies look like a very compressed Blu-ray rip. I was able to easily find quite a few movies that I wanted to watch or rewatch, though I wish it would give me the movie's rating. Blue VOD sure does a great job of letting me rewatch a lot of the movies I watched when I was younger. Also worth mentioning, you'll need high-speed internet to use this. It doesn't have to be fast, but if you do use this thing a lot, you'll want to watch your data cap, or get an internet plan with no data cap. The SuperBox is an interesting device, though I do wonder where this content comes from. I mean, it has some Disney movies, and aren't they exclusive to Disney Plus? Personally, I tried to find some information on Blue TV and Blue VOD on the internet, and wasn't able to find anything. If any of you know more about this, comment, enlighten us. These sorts of streaming devices, or streaming curation, or whatever it is behind the hood, aren't new. The SuperBox just puts it in an easy-to-use package that reminds me of TV back before advanced TV guides and DVRs became popular. The apps, Blue TV and Blue VOD, aren't really installable on other Android devices. I tried. It doesn't work correctly unless it's on a TV box. If you want to use them, you'll need to grab a SuperBox S1 Pro. So, do I recommend it? Well, if you're down with streaming and don't mind the upfront cost, want to cut the cord, want to add TV and movies to another TV, and not pay the cable company more, then yes, it's a good product with a far from perfect but decent system for content delivery. If you're iffy about where the content comes from or just need basic smart functions, then there are other options to consider. Should you choose to get one, there's a link in the description as well as a few coupon codes for as much as 50% off for the first 10 people. You might need to use the link provided though, since there are several sellers of the SuperBox, and these coupons probably only work for this particular seller. Post when these coupon codes no longer work and I can remove them. What are your thoughts on the SuperBox? Let me know, and thanks for watching.